Welcome into another edition of The Butcher versus the Spin Instructor, brought to you by LB's Meat Market in Oxford. Campbell McCready is here. She's the spin instructor. Greg Jones is here. He is the butcher. He's the guy that makes it all happen at LB's Meat Market, 2008 University Avenue in Oxford. I was just at LB's, I don't know, I guess it was last weekend about this time. Got some stuff, got lots of different stuff, and all the stuff is really good. Trying to think what I got this time, Greg. I got a couple of
tri-tips.
I got a couple of tri-tips. I went over into the frozen section right there on the left and just got a couple of tri-tips. I was kind of in a hurry, and I grabbed a couple of the frozen tri-tips, put them in some cold water in my sink. They were thawed within, I don't know, less than an hour. I didn't monitor them. And then I put them in the sous vide at about 129 and threw them on the grill that night real fast, and they were excellent. So good. Carson, Campbell's little brother, his birthday is on Sunday. He wants a filet, so I'll be coming into LB's this weekend to get some of those big. This is the technical. The technical term for them, I think, is big-ass fillets. I'm going to get some of those, and I'll sous vide them because Carson likes it because I get the salt and the pepper all around it, not just on the top and the bottom, but all around it. And you sous vide it to about 128. Get it on the grill. He's like, this is the best thing I've ever eaten. That's what you want to hear. So you can do all of that at LB's. Greg, real quick, tell people what else they can get at LB's.
Well, it's Thursday, so we're going to have some fresh fish coming in. We've got some scallops. We're doing some spiny lobster because it's in season right now, so you can come by and get some Florida spiny lobster. I'm going to get some fresh salmons, and we'll get some tuna. We'll also have some snapper and some redfish. So always Thursday is always the best time to come and get your fish. Whenever you mentioned going into the freezer, everything in the freezer is going to be $2 off the price. So we have a lot of out-of-town customers that, are going to come in and shop with us and put it in their freezer when they get back home. So, definitely take advantage of that opportunity of going in the freezer and grabbing something and getting $2 off. And, if we're out of something particular and it is in the freezer, like Neil was saying, just submerge it in cold water and it'll thaw out in 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the thickness of the cut. So don't be scared of something that you want to cook for that night and it's frozen because you don't think it's going to be ready in time. Just submerge it in cold water and it'll thaw out in 30 to 40 minutes and you can throw it on the grill and cook it that night.
So when I was in there, somebody was getting the lobster and he was going to put them on the grill, which was fascinating to me as someone who's never done much with lobster. I'm now totally intrigued with doing something with lobster. What all the people that are getting those, they look awesome, by the way. I know you can take the heads and turn them into stock, which is the smart thing to do. But the people that are getting the tail, are they butterflying those and putting them on a grill, or how are they doing that?
Yeah, that's what I took a couple home and actually just watched a YouTube video on how to prep and get your spiny lobster ready for the grill or the oven. There's a lot of different ways you can go. What I just did was I took a scissors and just cut down the back to where it'll open up once you cook it, and it'll be easier to get to in the shell. So we just put a bunch of butter and a bunch of garlic and just threw it on the grill and just, kind of charred it until it was done. It was one of the better things that we've had in a while. It was really good.
Yeah, that's on my list of things to try soon. We're going
to have to get Carson some surf and turf this weekend for sure.
That could happen. That might give me something to play with. All right, so Campbell, I know you've been spinning. You had 2 classes last night. Had an audio glitch that you had to work your way around. You've got 2 classes again tonight there at Zen Fayetteville. Tell me about what's going on with that.
I had a theme last night. It was like breakup songs. Actually, it was really fun.
Give me an example of a breakup song.
Like, what's that Carrie Underwood song?
Oh, where she talks about slashing his tires, or
yeah, it was that type of music. It was fun.
Angry breakups.
My music stopped halfway through, so that was pretty stressful. Again, tonight I do Throwback Thursday, so I play like old 2000, like early 2000 songs.
Yeah, Greg, when we think of
Wait,
throwbacks,
that's not old. That's not considered old.
it
Like,
is to them.
I was waiting for like Led Zeppelin or like Pink Floyd or something. I'm sorry, I was confused on the old songs there.
That's ancient, Greg.
Okay, ancient songs.
Yeah, that's.
We'll have ancient night on Sundays for Christian classes.
If I were to play that music at Zen, I think no one would come to my classes. So
It's probably true. It's probably true. Sad, but probably true. All right. Last week we picked 7 games. You guys both lost money. Greg, you lost less than Campbell. Greg was 3-4 against the spread. He's now 4-7 overall on the season. Campbell started the day hot, got the first 2 games, and then lost the last 5 to go 2-5 for the day. She is now 6-5 for the year. So Campbell's 3-game lead has been cut to 2 as we head into this week. Do either of you have a different strategy this week since you're struggling a little, or you feel confident that you're just ready to roll?
I don't really think I had a strategy to begin with. I think I'm just kind of going in, just I have no idea what's going on. Yeah.
Okay. Have you figured out? Are you a little more familiar with how point spreads work yet, or are we still completely confused? You're a 3.7 student in the Walton School of Business. It is amazing to me that we cannot start to gain a grasp on.
Well, there's actually a football like history class offered here, so maybe I should consider.
You should consider taking that. In all seriousness,
I'm still kind of lost on the points.
Okay.
So.
All right.
I don't know if they'll go over in gambling on how to gamble in that football history class, but maybe they'll probably mix something in there to let you know what you're going with and who you're betting on and who you're betting against.
Yeah, there would be worse classes to take with an elective. You could learn a little something. Be probably a lot of guys in there.
Yeah, I don't know
whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. All right, so here we go. The games of October the 3rd in the Southeastern Conference. We've made it to week 2. South Carolina is at number 3 Florida. That game is at 11 a.m. You can see it on ESPN. The Gamecocks head to Gainesville as an 18-point underdog. Greg?
Well, I think Florida's a good football team. I would like to think that Ole Miss kind of validated how good their offense is, but maybe Ole Miss's defense is that bad. But I'm going to go with South Carolina here. I'm going to take the points. I think it's going to be a close-knit game, maybe 10 points heading into the fourth quarter, and maybe South Carolina can hold on for us.
Campbell, what you got? Greg's taking the 18 points. Florida, an 18-point favorite at home against South Carolina. I don't know how much of the Florida-Ole Miss game you watched on Saturday. Florida rolled up 642 yards of total offense. I know that doesn't mean anything to you. That is a lot. That is a whole lot. That's like a record lot of offense. Now, on the flip side, so that you know, Florida gave up 600 and don't hold me to the exact number, 618 yards of offense, something like that, which is a whole lot to give up. So Florida is probably hoping today that Ole Miss's offense is really good. Ole Miss is absolutely hoping that Florida's offense is that great, because otherwise it's going to be a really long year for the Rebels. But so that's just a little perspective as we get started. I'm trying to help a little here just with context. The Gators' offense was phenomenal in Oxford. The defense was not.
Okay. Well, honestly,
I'm waiting to see if Campbell toured Florida and see if she really liked the campus and everything. So this is where I'm hoping that she toured.
No,
Florida.
I did not. I know nothing about any of these games. I did not watch a minute of any game this past weekend, not even the Arkansas game. Hate to say it. But I'm going to pick Florida for this game. They beat Ole Miss. You said their offense was really good. I know I picked South Carolina last week, but they lost.
You came close on that one. So let me give you a point spread lesson here. You came really close. Tennessee was a 3-point favorite. You picked South Carolina, so you got South Carolina and 3 points. Tennessee won the game by 4 points.
Okay.
Tennessee covered the line by 1 point. Had Tennessee won by just 2 points instead of 4 points, you would have won the game.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to go with Florida for this one. I don't know what any of that means.
It's
I mean,
it just is what it is. I'm like Nick Saban here. It is what it is. It's very frustrating, and I'm amused and disappointed, and all of these things rolled into one. But it's okay. So Campbell's going to lay the 18. Greg's taking the 18. That's the early game on ESPN. The early game on the SEC network is Missouri getting 10 points at Tennessee. The Tigers lost at home against Alabama last Saturday. Tennessee won the aforementioned contest against South Carolina there in Columbia, South Carolina. This game in Knoxville, 11 a.m. Central Time on SEC Network. Campbell, you're up.
Yet again, I know nothing about these teams. So, which to be honest, I don't really know much about any team. So I could say that for most games. I'm gonna go with Missouri for the reason that my roommate, who's back there in bed watching TV, is from St. Louis. I don't like Tennessee's orange color.
It is a bad orange.
It's really obnoxious. It looks kind of gross.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's why I'm going with Missouri for this game.
I actually like your rationale there as much as I would love to criticize it. I don't like the Tennessee orange. It puts me in a bad mood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like orange.
Greg?
I have to agree with you on the orange. I mean, it's a bad orange. But with that being said, I'm a dog lover. So Tennessee has Smokey the dog. So I'm going to go with Tennessee because I'm a dog lover.
He is a nice dog. He's a good dog. He's a good boy. All right. The CBS game, Texas A&M, 13th ranked in the country, getting 17.5 points at number 2, Alabama. The Aggies barely beat Vanderbilt at home on Saturday night. Alabama rolled over Missouri as Alabama rolls over everyone. This game will be at 2:30 on CBS. Greg, you're up.
Man, that's a lot of points, but we were hoping that Texas A&M was going to be a little bit better than they showed last weekend, but they definitely did not show that. So, well, to a historic Vanderbilt team, bad Vanderbilt team, as you quoted last week. So maybe Vanderbilt's not that bad. Maybe Texas A&M's not that good. We don't know. You definitely take Alabama here because talent over whatever Texas A&M's been doing.
Campbell?
I'm obviously going to go with Alabama for this one. And you also told me that Texas A&M's coach used to work for Nick Saban. Is that right?
That is right. Jimbo Fisher, the Texas A&M coach, was once an assistant on Nick Saban's staff at maybe LSU and Alabama. I think he might have been with him at 2 places. I think he was with him. He was with him at the Dolphins too. He's been with Nick Saban for a long time.
And you said that no former assistant to Nick Saban has ever been beat. So
has ever beaten Saban, right? That's correct. That is correct. It's very good. That's true.
I'm catching along.
All right. Let the record show that this was the first moment that we got some football analysis from Campbell McCready. It's accurate. All right. You're both taking Alabama. You're both laying 17.5 points. I got to tell you, I agree with both of you here. Kellen Mond was really bad against Vanderbilt. And if Kellen Mond's going to be that bad, they've got problems there, but they'll have big problems in Tuscaloosa because this is a good Alabama team that played badly in the second half. And Nick Saban teams that play badly the week before typically don't play badly the next week. I'll look for Alabama to roll. All right.
They get those keys taken away.
Can't get in your Dodge Charger anymore.
No, sorry.
All right, the SEC network game at 3 o'clock is one that a lot of people around Oxford will obviously be watching. Ole Miss at Kentucky, Kroger Field there in Lexington. Ole Miss, a 7-point underdog against the Wildcats. Ole Miss lost at home to Florida last week, 51-35. Kentucky went down to Auburn, played well for about a half, and then kind of got run out of Jordan-Hare. So this is the Wildcats home opener in Lexington. Campbell, you're up.
This week I'm going to pick Kentucky because they're at home. Maybe that will spark some enthusiasm from them. The fans will be there, I think. I don't know if that's allowed there.
I don't know. It's maybe just a few, because if you have too many fans in the stands, everybody dies. That's the sign.
Yeah.
So you have
maybe the little paper fans will be.
Oh yeah, the paper fans will be there.
Excitement.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you, some of my Ole Miss friends that listen to your show keep bringing up some guy named Spencer.
Oh yes, Spencer calls in the hand raise guys.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about him. I don't know who that is.
He's a nice young man in Louisiana who calls into the show. He wants to get in touch with Ole Miss's fashion coordinator. I don't know if you saw Ole Miss's uniforms Saturday. I'm assuming you did not. Ole Miss wore powder blue jerseys for the first time in the program's history, and they were straight fire. They really were. It was a great look for Ole Miss. But Spencer wants to see Ole Miss add a sash, perhaps, instead of the belt. And he would like to put tassels on the shoes. Spencer, I don't think watches a lot of football, but he's very interested in the fashion part of it. And he's an Ole Miss fan, and he calls into the show. He's excellent. We welcome Spencer to call in.
Okay. Well,
you heard Spencer yet, Greg?
No, I haven't. I'll have to get in. I'll have to get in on that tune.
Yeah, and we'll hand raise guys this week. Will start probably around 6:30, 7 o'clock. So by the time we get to Spencer, probably around 9 or so would be my guess. He will have had some time to be in the sauce, and that it could be an interesting call, because it was an early call last week because Ole Miss had the 11 a.m. game. They're in the 3 o'clock game this week, the 5 o'clock game next week. So things with Spencer could get eventful, I'm guessing. All right, Greg, Campbell is taking Kentucky and laying the 7 points. You're laying the points, Campbell?
Sure.
Okay, Greg, you've got Ole Miss, a 7-point dog at Kentucky.
Man, I just can't sit here with my Ole Miss shirt on and my Tony the Land Shark golfer hat on and just not take Ole Miss. With that being said, I'm just going to take the Rebels and hope we work the kinks out in the defense this week and some practices and get a better game plan for the defense. But Ole Miss called a couple tough breaks last week. Kind of the ball didn't bounce their way on a couple of calls. But it is what it is, and, just moving forward. But, yes, we're going to take the Rebs and the points here.
I like that pick. I've got Kentucky winning, but by like 1 point. I think it's a really close game. I think 7 points is too big of a line. Kentucky did get some good news earlier in the week. Joey Gatewood, the former Auburn quarterback who transferred there, is eligible to play on Saturday. So that's a wild card going into the game. But all right, Greg's got Ole Miss in the 7. Campbell has Kentucky laying the 7. The 6:30 is 3 6:30 games. The first is on the SEC Network alternate channel. It is Arkansas at Mississippi State. Arkansas getting 17.5 points. The Hogs led Georgia midway through the third quarter in Fayetteville last weekend before losing by 27. Mississippi State went down to LSU and beat the defending national champs by 10. Probably the big storyline of week 1 in the SEC was Mississippi State going to Baton Rouge and not only winning, but just throwing the football all over the field against LSU. I think, Greg, you're going to pick the game first, but Campbell, I've got to ask you this because we McCrady's like to help people. We like to be good. I think most people agree with that. You're teaching a spin class there at Zen in Fayetteville. Have you or anyone there considered reaching out to Sam Pittman and suggesting that perhaps he take a spin class? Because Sam looks like he's going to Hugo's for every meal. What's the name of the grilled cheese place that's so good that has all the different grilled cheeses?
Hammond-Trees.
Hammond-Trees. Greg, I don't know if you've ever been to Fayetteville to Hammond-Trees. Hammond-Trees is absolutely fantastic. Really it is like a treat. You go in, they have this pulled pork grilled cheese sandwich, And it's delicious. And you get a nice cold beer with it, and it's got chips. I think it's chips. They have fries or chips.
I think it's
fries
chips.
too.
I don't remember.
The sandwich is so good you don't remember what else comes with it. But I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that it is not low cal and it's not low fat. Just my guess. And Hugo's it's a famous place in Fayetteville. It's kind of like reminds me of the Blind Pig a little bit in Oxford. Been there forever. It's one of those places when you walk down into it, you feel like you're walking back into time a little bit, like a Throwback Thursday, but throw way back. And it's great. They have a great burger, a burger you would be proud of. But I'm going to, again, reach out on a limb and guess that it's not the 93.7 that they're using. It's got some fat in it. And Sam looks like he has enjoyed all that Fayetteville has to offer, and we need to get him in a gym soon, Campbell. Have you thought about this?
I'll be honest. One of my friends took my spin class last night for the second time, and I hope she doesn't hear this, but she did really struggle. And she's not anywhere near Sam Pittman's size. So I think if he were to come to Zen, he would not make it even a quarter of the way through. Even in my first class a year ago, I was like dying, breathing so hard. So I have no idea what he would feel like if he tried to do that. But I do not blame him with the Hugo's experience. I wish I could go eat there like 3 times a day. It's so good.
Yeah, you would not be happy with yourself because you'd have to buy all new clothes.
Do you think we could get Sam Pittman one of those hats with grilled cheese on a paperclip in front of him to do? Don't you think that would work?
To run, taste the grilled cheese.
Just stay on the bike and just trying to get the grilled cheese.
That's the thought.
It might work.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
He walked out of the tunnel and I saw him and I'm like, what are you doing? Come on, man. I mean, you worry about
Did he have like a red garbage bag on as his coat, as his outfit? That was the only thing that would fit him. It's just a big, tracksuit.
I think that's kind of where we're headed whatever it is with Arkansas and now they had Morris was a thin guy, but before that it was Brett Bielema Brett Bielema tested the elastic week after week after week after week. And now Pittman's doing the same thing. And it's like, what is the attraction with morbidly obese coaches up there? I don't get it. I mean, it's like, we call the hogs, but they don't mean literally. I mean,
it doesn't mean like call the pulled pork, the ribs, and the chicken, potato salad. It means it's kind of like a hotty toddy thing. It's a cheer. It's not. Hey, bring in the pulled pork, bring in the ribs. Definitely get the second helping of mac and cheese.
Greg, do you ever watch The Office?
I have, bits and pieces. I should have locked in on it, but I did not fully lock in on The Office. But
Campbell and I both love The Office. I bet the two of us have watched it in total. I would venture to guess we've seen the entire thing 10 times.
Oh, I guess way over that.
And there's one of the episodes where Kevin, who's kind of the big fat guy in the office, his New Year's resolution was to eat a vegetable. And so Michael Scott's angry about something else and about resolutions. And so Michael Scott shoves broccoli into his hand, and Kevin eats the broccoli from the stalk end first, and he's
like crying.
Yeah, he's crying. Someone needs to make sure that Sam's getting some broccoli instead of the barbecue. All right, we didn't even pick the game, Greg. I think it's your turn to pick first. Mississippi State's a 17.5-point favorite.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go with Sam Pittman here. Maybe he'll say yes, sir, like 25 times, and maybe they'll get riled up for it. But we're gonna take the Hogs here.
All right, Greg's taking Arkansas in the 17.5. Campbell, I assume you're probably doing the same, just pure loyalty.
Yes, and it was so exciting here. I did not watch it, but I was at a party, I will say, with a pretty good amount of people. Everyone was okay and healthy. No one died. So, it probably will be happening again soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when Arkansas was up at the half and everyone was just, excited about that.
Sure.
Even when we lost, that was what everybody was saying. We were at least we were up at the half. That was something. So, maybe this week it's just going to get better from here. So I'm going to go with Arkansas, of course.
Yeah, I think there was a moment in the middle of the third quarter in that game in Fayetteville where Arkansas was up 10-5 over Georgia, and I think everybody in the country was cheering for Arkansas at that moment. We were all – Arkansas's probably fan base had never been bigger than it was in that moment. It didn't go well from that point forward, but people got excited about it. Okay, speaking of Georgia at home this week for its home opener. Auburn comes to town, a battle of top 7 teams. Auburn beat Kentucky. Georgia beat Arkansas. They square off there at Sanford Stadium in Athens. Auburn is a 7-point underdog. Georgia giving 7 points to Auburn. That game at 6:30 Central Time. You can see it on ESPN. Campbell?
I don't know anything about these two teams yet again. But I'm going to go back with my college tour choice because it seemed to have worked the first week for something. Yeah.
But you hated your visit to Auburn.
I know, but it did. That's when I realized that I wanted to go to Arkansas. So maybe, that was for a reason. So for that, I will be picking Auburn this week.
Science. It's kind of like the COVID science here. It makes no sense, but when you listen to it, you're like, okay, well, maybe.
So that's my pick.
Wait, so we're going with Auburn because you didn't like Auburn and it made you want to go to Arkansas?
Yeah, it's just because I toured Auburn. Really, that's why I'm choosing.
She got in the truck after that tour, Greg. Now, keep in mind, it was hotter than the surface of the sun that day at Auburn. And she got in the truck and she said, I hated it.
But I like that football team.
They provided me clarity on my decision with Arkansas. That's
clarity.
I will say I did not like them. They just continued to scream War Eagle around whenever we would go. You know that they did that. It was like
it was weird. It was weird. The whole entire tour, every time our tour guide would pass somebody else,
it was just
War Eagle. It's like, can you not just say hello?
Wait, I thought that was a commercial. So they really do that?
Yes.
They made us stand in this little circle and scream a War Eagle or something. I don't know what they made us. I don't remember. But even when I went to Arkansas, they made us call the Hogs twice. But this was excessive.
Yeah, the Arkansas thing when they did the call the Hogs, they were almost kind of making fun of themselves as they did it, though. It was more laid back than it was at Auburn, where it was intense. But what I remember, though, was not the portion that was pre-scripted. Because, at Arkansas, when you come in and you do a tour or whatever, you have an orientation, whatever, they'll call the Hogs. So at some point, and that's fine. I'm sure at Ole Miss they do a hotty-toddy thing. That's fine. I'm sure whatever, everybody's got to cheer.
But this was a greeting.
Yeah. But at Arkansas, if someone passed somebody that they saw, they'd say, hey, how are you, Jim? Or how are you, Kathy? At Auburn, it was War Eagle. War Eagle, Kathy. War Eagle, Jim. And it was
I'm assuming the roll tide is the same thing, It's like, hey, Jim, roll tide.
Yeah, it just I don't know. It was kind of bizarre. All right, so you're both. Let's see, Greg, you haven't picked yet. Campbell's going to take Auburn in the 7. Greg, what about you?
I think that if Georgia comes out slow out the gate like they did against Arkansas, Auburn's going to jump on them, early and often, and they're going to have to bring their A game to the table. I didn't tour any of the schools. I've been to Auburn once. I haven't been to Georgia, but I had a good time in Auburn, so I'm going to take Georgia.
All right, I've covered more games at Auburn than I can recall. I've covered a handful at Georgia as well. It's one of my favorite places to go to a game. So if you ever get an opportunity to go to a game at Sanford Stadium, I recommend it. It's a really cool setting. All right, last game of the day, LSU giving 20 points. LSU at Vanderbilt. That game also at 6:30. You can see it on the SEC Network. Vanderbilt lost by 5 at Texas A&M, which for Vanderbilt is absolutely a moral victory. LSU lost at home by 10 to Mississippi State, which was not a moral victory. So LSU searching for its first win of the season in Nashville against the Commodores. Greg, I believe you're up.
Well, Neil, you gave me some good advice on the Vanderbilt Commodores being the worst team in school's history. So I like betting on the worst teams in school history. So I'm going to go with the Vanderbilt Commodores here.
All right. Greg is taking Vanderbilt. He's going to get 20 points. Campbell, what about you? Are you willing to lay 21 or more on the Tigers, or are you with Greg and you're going to go with Vanderbilt?
I will not be going with Vanderbilt for the reason that you did say they are the worst team. So I disagree with him on that one. I think I picked LSU last week for the reason that
we both did.
Okay, I said my reasoning was because a lot of my friends are from Louisiana. So
and they still are a week later, so there you go.
They still are. So I will be going with LSU this week again.
All right, so we've got some differences. We have very few agreements. You both agree on Alabama, you both agree on Arkansas, and that's it. Everywhere else, you're different. So we could have a shake-up at the top when we get back together next week for the Butcher versus the Spin Instructor. Real quick, Greg, before we leave, tell the people one more time how they can get in touch with you, how they can enjoy all of the wonderful things that LB's has to offer.
Well, the best thing is always to just call the store, 662-259-2999. We'll try to get you taken care of as quick as possible on, your order. If you have a large order, just call us in. We're a smaller store, but we'll get you taken care of. It's going to be a good weekend. It's going to be our first away weekend, so we don't know what to really expect, but we'll be fully stocked up, ready to go. Planes, trains, plenty of fish, boneless ribeyes, T-bones, and ground beef. So we'll be ready to go for this weekend. Just come on by and we'll get you taken care of.
Awesome. Look forward to it. Look forward to talking to you guys again on Thursday. Greg, have a great weekend. Campbell, have a great weekend there in Fayetteville. And if you guys are not going to Kentucky, and most of you are not, we'll be live streaming all day at MPW Digital at our YouTube right here on this YouTube channel. We'll get started at 1 o'clock. With Scoreboard Business, brought to you by The Rogue. We'll go until about 2:50. We'll have a live stream during the game at 3, and then we'll have hand raise guys. After Ole Miss and Kentucky, we'll go until you basically stop calling us. That'll be the hint that we're done. So last week we went about 3 hours. I suspect we'll go about 3 hours this week as well. So we'll be with you at MPW Digital, rebelgrove.com all weekend. So go to LB's, get stocked up, watch our show. Campbell, good luck there in Fayetteville this weekend with the spin classes, and good luck to the Hogs. Maybe the Hogs, I think most people here will be cheering for the Hogs on Saturday night. Would probably love to see Arkansas pull off an upset at Mississippi State. That probably would make a lot of people happy. So for Greg Jones, for Campbell McCready, I'm Neil McCready. That does it for this edition of The Butcher versus the Spin Instructor, brought to you by LB's Meat Market in Oxford. Until next time, take care.